As If by Chance, presented by Tallaght Community Arts and All Tents, was a live, site-specific performative walk through the urban landscape of Tallaght that explored stories of love and intimacy. The audience, they experienced the performance using their mobile phones, and it was aided by headphones and a selfie stick. And that really allowed them to become active participants in the performance.
It began with meeting the people involved, the actors, the couples that would become the sort of stars of the show in a sense, and getting to know them and kind of what made them tick and what their relationships were about. And of course then that was sort of very much an initial job for the songwriters because they were writing the songs, and so I was still kind of standing back at that stage and just sort of letting them do their job, contributing to that idea and how that came about, but still very much standing back at that time. So 3 songwriters, each with very different kind of voices. And of course they had very different sound worlds in that kind of way. So a very different sound. And so that was a real challenge of just that sort of how to manage and navigate those worlds and let it seem like something that one can flow into the other. The choral piece, this was different with a sort of a community choir. That was a learning experience as well because it's been a while since I've written choral, and so all the different ways to just work with someone and make a piece of music that they will enjoy singing was like a real key thing to this with a community choir. You know, they're doing it for the love of it.
Initially, when I heard the piece, I was worried as to how this would be taken on. The first night I played it for them, they were absolutely ecstatic. They thought it was fabulous. Every one of them were absolutely up for the challenge. We quickly learned to read sheet music so that they had some idea of where they needed to come in and out.
Getting young musicians to understand this multidisciplinary project that they were engaged in. It wasn't just writing songs and performing and recording anymore, it was being aware of the other elements that formed part of the project and how their little small part had to complement other aspects, not just musical. Storytelling and videography and just a general getting to know how other people do their work.
From a filmmaking point of view, for making As If by Chance, there was one big challenge, and that was that this had to be shot as one piece. The duration of the piece is 20 plus minutes, 22, 23 minutes. And we had our starting point and we had our end point. And apart from that, we didn't really have any control over any of the variables. A lot of pre-production had to go into that, and then we had to rely on luck as well on the day. We had to rely on luck with the weather, we had to rely on luck with the light, we had to rely on luck especially with what happened around us as we were shooting. It was also a very exciting part of the project because it was unfolding in front of our eyes as we shot. I shot it very much POV. I was, shooting as I went on a small handheld device. A lot of filmmaking rules were broken, I suppose. It also left more room for, I think, the music to take its place in the piece. I was fascinated how our 3 couples would work on the day of the shoot because they're not actors. And they did so brilliantly. And it was beautifully framed by all those high-rise flats in this very confined area. We got 3 lovely movements to the whole thing, and yeah.
The production features an original soundtrack by composer Robert Coleman and individual songs written by local songwriters Pius Gojo, Amy Nessens and Nick Stanley. Individual songs were inspired by our 3 couples, Gary and Katrina, Pat and Joan, and Michael and Patricia. We got to know our 3 couples through established participant programmes at Tallaght Community Arts, and the team behind the music all came through youth music collectives in South Dublin County.
I could resonate straight away with Gary and Katrina. It inspires me when people are able to be as honest as possible and just kind of wear their heart on their sleeve, and I got that. It was kind of nice to connect with people that you don't really know.
Well, the first thing he said when he saw me, here's that lovely girl. My mum helps me to go on dates with him. She makes sure I dress up nice for Gary and makes sure I meet him in time.
Both McQueen are really doggy girl, and I love girls.
There are infinite stories around us all the time. The idea of this as kind of a snapshot of a kind of chance encounter with 3 different couples. The soundscape and the music was combined with the theatricality of it and the performance of the couples. The whole story of Patricia and Michael, 2 people who've got a really, really beautiful story of how they met and how they lived their daily lives together. Their whole backstory can exist in just this one moment between them. That was a really interesting creative challenge as part of this process.
It feels very inspirational and amazing to kind of get somebody to kind of use your own life experience and to use that kind of history.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable to get for experiencing whatever you've been through and all of that, like, you know. So it's something that I can see. It's feel like good.
I felt an immense pressure to do the couple that I had, Pat and Joan, justice in a song. Like 3 minutes of melody and writing, it was very hard to capture their whole life story. Some of the stories that they told me, I was so touched by.
Yeah, when you look back, the words of the song, it's our life and it's very special. It's just beautiful.
I think we had a hunch that playing around with this idea of this viewing the world in this digital filmic way, which is what we do a lot in everyday life now without even thinking, and being able to people watch using the mobile phone as a device, but to put into it 3-minute songs for 3 couples. We went from digital and the digital film stopped and suddenly there was a live choir present on the plaza steps here, and also our performers, our couple, so to speak, appeared again. And it's very interesting watching every night the audience when they get this shock. Oh my goodness, there are real people here in front of me and I'm not watching it on a device anymore. In this location in Tallaght, which is not really familiar Tallaght to most people, the most extraordinary number of people from different cultural backgrounds are living here currently, and we've been able to navigate, negotiate in and around those people who are living their lives, going about their business every day. And we now have some regular people come out on their balconies every night to listen to our choir singing. Once in a while, you get a project that flows totally smoothly, in as much that it's the right thing to be doing at the right time, and as if by chance is one of those very lucky moments, and I really treasure it.
Let me show you, let it show. Give it time to let it grow, let it show. Give it time to let it grow, let it show. Give it time to let it grow, let it show.